Good morning, this is Captain Drew Cavanaugh with Florida Inshore Fishing Charters and Mosquito Lagoon Sight Fishing Charters located here in East Central Florida on the world famous Mosquito Lagoon and Indian River here you see in front of me. New Smyrna Beach, Oak Hill, Titusville, Cocoa Beach, Daytona, just east of Orlando. And today is April 6th, 2013. It's almost sunrise here in Oak Hill. And this is your Mosquito Lagoon sight fishing report for the past few days. Well, all I can say is we've had a few cold fronts come through, windy days, then good days. We've had some rain. It seems like back in January it was better weather than it is now. I think January we had 88 degrees, 86 degrees, and here we are April, and it's I'm in a jacket and coat and all that kind of stuff. It's probably about 56 degrees out, but let me tell you what, the sight fishing is off the wall. Whether you're fishing the flats and pursuing these redfish by pulling the boat around, looking for them to tail feed, chasing crab, shrimp, or feeding on crabs and shrimp, or chasing mullet and bait fish, or if you're one to go down into, you know, the canals, whether it's all over canal or up in the New Smyrna Beach, the Ponce Inlet area, and anchor down and just, you know, chunk out some bait and hope something comes along. It's all good. Everywhere's good. Key elements: you get out there, get to an area, take your time, be stealthy, be patient. Work grass flats with potholes. Sun rises in the east, western banks light up and warm up the quickest. Water temperature is not cold, but it's not, you know, it still will warm up some. These fish will get active as the day goes on. You get to areas and you see a spot, I cannot stress this enough, give your fellow angler plenty of space. What do you say is plenty of space? Well, when you're flats fishing in shallow water, skinny water, you take away an element of depth. These fish can only go around, they cannot, or distance. So if I'm sitting in a spot, you know, you want to give, you know, say a 500-yard berth around, because you just don't know. You may push forward 50 feet, turn around, go 200 yards that way, come back this way. You cover areas. So it's funny, right out here in front of us right here, we got a couple manatee swimming. They seem to be doing pretty good. You can see the swirls right there. They'll probably pop up here in a second. So definitely a lot of life to look out at out here. Aquatic life, marine mammal life, birds, so on and so forth. Back to sight fishing. Give your angler some berth. Work areas slowly. Take your time. Stealth, patience, distance, and, you know, targeted shots, accuracy. Yeah, it's a given. You know, the tail does not eat. I've been throwing weedless, when I'm sight fishing, throwing an individual fish, I've been throwing weedless cows, DOA cows, like the one right here. Let's see if I can turn the camera here and maybe get a little bit better view of it. There it is. Just, you know, rig it with a weighted little weedless hook when you're throwing at fish like that. Or if you're throwing at schools of redfish in deeper water, you can use the cow rigged on a jig head like that, a DOA jig head, or this version of the cow right there. And it works just as well. You know, you say you're throwing at 3 feet of water, 100 fish in a school, you can get the distance, it'll drop down to them, and you know, the redfish will get hooked up that way just as easily. For those of you wanting to fly fish, you know, search the flats, search edges, approach the fish, you know, stealthy, sun at your back and light in their eyes. Make sure your back casts don't spook them. Number 4, worm, shrimp pattern, crab patterns have been working phenomenal right now. They're feeding on a lot of shrimp and crab right now. We're in that spring conversion to summertime conversion. You know, it's after Easter, so, you know, the water's starting to warm up. Our spring has arrived. You know, we're starting to jump into summer here pretty quick. For those of you wanting to use bait on the flats, you know, go out there and cast net some mullet. You can go out there, look at drop-off ledges. You can sling out some mullet on a 3-aught, 4-aught, or not really 4-aught, 3-aught, 2-aught circle hook. Free line it, you know, 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. I use 10-pound Power Pro braid, so on and so forth. And just see if something comes along. You can use cut crabs and whatnot. Shrimp are working good too. So if you're able to get some nice shrimp and be able to sight fish that way, put on a live shrimp. But I don't see any reason putting on a live shrimp and throwing at a tail and redfish, because if you can throw a shrimp at a tail and redfish, you can throw a DOA or soft plastic at them. You know, as long as you get it to their mouth and within reason of them, they'll eat. I had clients the other day that had said to me, Captain, if you had bait, we can catch these fish, because they were struggling with the cast. The cast were, you know, throw to the fish, but when it's 30-40 feet away, they're not going to see that. So I put on bait for them. The bait still lands 30-40 feet away. So a targeted shot is very important out here. You have to think, we're not fishing depth here. Not very rarely. Deep is 18, 30, 34 inches at times. You know, it's not going to go down 20, 30 feet to Grandpa's sunken Christmas tree down there. We just don't have that here in Florida. Let's see, the other element, key element, is to just, you know, take your time. I can't stress this enough. Avoid the trolling motor like the plague unless you have to. That trolling motor on skinny water, running the flats, will just, it does nothing but destruction as far as scaring the fish and chopping up grass and all that in shallow water. That trolling motor should be used in deeper water, around drop-off ledges. You shouldn't be using a trolling motor in 18 inches of water. They make these things so powerful nowadays that it's just pretty destructive on the grass flats and all that. More than anything, it scares the fish. I use my trolling motor in the summertime when I'm chasing tarpon in the deeper water. Very rarely do I use it on the flats. It's a weight factor for me because I'm wanting to get into some backcountry, very skinny water. And then I use it during the wintertime when I go crappie fishing, of course, you know, trolling there. But other than that, we're getting some nice sea trout using the DOA shallow runner bait buster. On cloudy, overcast days, you can blind cast those over sand holes and potholes. The black drum are out there, but the poor drum have been pursued and chased so much that it requires a special touch. I call it the Goldilocks touch. It's got to be just right. Goldilocks touch with the redfish, all that kind of stuff. Some nice gator trout have been seen. The key with that casting is, you know, pretend like you're casting to turkey. Turkey spook very easily. Well, these fish spook too very easily. So it's all in the presentation. Your presentation is so important. Getting a few bycatch. Actually, the other day we got into a nice mess of ladyfish, which that makes a great cut bait. You chop that up, put it on a hook for those of you who want to bait fish. Even caught a couple flounder. Most of the redfish we're getting are anywhere between, you know, a couple pounds, 3 pounds, up to 15, 20 pounders. I've heard of a couple, you know, being caught over that size limit, but I think most of those are being anchored down, you know, chunking out bait for 4 or 5 hours, and something comes along and gets it in the deeper waters, the inlets and stuff. Other than that, that is your sight fishing report. I see nothing but continues to improve. April tends to be a phenomenal month to sight fish. If you can time it around the fronts and the storms and the wind. We got crystal clear skies, beautiful weather. Today is supposed to be up in the 70s, 80s. And May is off the wall, and then summertime will be here. We'll start to get our tarpon coming in. And then it's on. Next thing you know, it's winter again. So until next time, this is Captain Drew Cavanaugh with Florida Inshore Fishing Charters and Mosquito Lagoon Sight Fishing Reporters, or Sight Fishing Charters, located here in East Central Florida. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.